Well, hello everybody. Happy Foxy Friday. Well, one more video about my trip to Texas. We went to San Antonio, and this was a bunch of us getting together just for our girls' weekend. And when I heard they were meeting in Texas, I thought, well, that'll be really cool because I love the cowgirl vibe and I love country music. I was actually really hoping that we would go to one of the big country western bars there, but that didn't happen. Actually, we had a much smaller turnout than usual. And I kind of asked around why, and it seemed like a lot of people were turned off by Texas politics. They didn't want to be supporting that, so they decided not to come. Other people were kind of afraid that there would be a lot of people that weren't accepting of us. Well, as it turned out, those that did come still were too nervous to go to the country bar, but we had a good time. I don't think any of us had any issues. And the whole time I was there, we were always addressed by the proper pronouns, and people were polite. Well, maybe there are problems if you go to certain parts of the city or out in the sticks or desert or whatever they have out of the city in Texas. They probably have one or two rednecks out there. We didn't have any problems that I knew of. Of course, there were the times where we would have a dozen of us or so walking down the sidewalk. I'm sure there were lots of people whispering and looking. It is not every day that you see several cross-dressers all together. And even if they didn't know we were cross-dressers, I think we stood out because we're generally larger and wear dresses more often. So we do stand out a little bit, especially when we're in a group. And my wife, I didn't actually see much of it myself, but my wife is more sensitive to these things. She said she would often see people that are like sitting at an outdoor cafe or something, kind of leaning over to the person they were with and saying, "Don't look now," but, and of course, anytime you say "don't look now," what happens? You turn your head to see what they're looking at. So she noticed that more. That used to bother her quite a bit, but now she kind of almost finds it comical. There was a couple of times where I'd be walking down the sidewalk and I'd see people walking by and they do this thing where they will keep their head straight ahead, but they'll move their eyes to get a better look at me. Like I won't notice they're looking at me if they keep their head straight ahead. Anyway, it doesn't bother me either. It actually hasn't bothered me since the very first time that I ever went out and I was super nervous. But since then, I've just kind of had the attitude that I'm just gonna do what I want and have fun. And as long as I act appropriately and dress appropriately, then people should leave me alone. And so far, that's worked everywhere that I've gone. So I would totally go back there again. I thought it was a great experience. Well, have a great weekend, everybody.